Welcome to another kitchen sink microscopy. I'm Eric Rosenblatt, and we would super duper love it if you would like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and all that stuff. That's what everybody that's cool does. You want to be cool, don't you?
I certainly do. And I'm Casey Rochford, a complete nerd, and I need to be cool. Validated.
Wait. Nerds are cool these days.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You know what cool nerds do is they hang around at the end for the song, and then they go to check it out on patreon.com/KSMVidcast or all the other stuff we've released on iTunes and Spotify. And they check out our website too, ksmvidcast.com. So, what should we talk about today?
Well, I think it's high time that we have another lightning round, because those are fun and popular.
Lightning round.
Your audio sounds a little distorted.
Really?
Is there something going on there? Like what?
I don't know. I'll check some of the dials, I guess.
What the? What? Dude. Whoa. Dude, what? Where are you?
I don't know. Where's my glasses? Here's some. Hey, they're the right prescription at least. Oh, jeez.
What the hell just happened?
Oh, I don't know, but I have no idea where I am, but all my stuff's here.
Well, that's good.
Oh, I think I know where I am. I must be in Memphis.
Yep, clearly you are.
I guess I'm in the South now. Must have got struck by lightning, and now I'm down in like Thunder Alley or whatever.
Well, hey, wait a minute. Wow, man, something happened. We're all changed. Like, my room's different. Jeez. Well, let's get on with the lightning round. I think that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
All right.
First, I need a beer.
Okay.
All right, there's beer in here.
Hell yeah.
It's even a KSM glass. How about that?
Perfect.
All right. I think we're ready.
All right. Well, for the viewing audience that's not aware of what a kitchen sink microscopy lightning round is, we take most of the major topics that we discuss and divide them up amongst each other. We got 5 minutes to talk about it. Neither of us knows what the other is going to present, aside from the last one, which we both know. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun. Fun for all. So I think you have the first topic.
Yes.
So let me know when you're ready, and I'll start the timer at 5 minutes.
All right, let's go with
politics. Politics.
Oh yeah, got to piss people off right off the bat. So let's go into politics, and I think we should discuss: is mask wearing removing our rights?
Oh man, I know there's a bunch of people that feel very strongly about that.
Now, I personally don't understand why, but maybe you do.
Well, if it like self-ownership and autonomy and stuff, if somebody's telling you have to wear something, it does. I mean, it could almost be like the Nazis demanding the Jews wear the stars, like that. I could see somebody making those kinds of connections. but there's a legitimate reason for it.
Well, the thing is, it now it's getting to the point where they are telling you to wear a mask, like they're making it laws and stuff like that. It started out just asking people to wear masks, and had they just done that, we'd probably not have to wear them anymore. But here we are.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I could see. The thing is, I could see arguments for both sides of that being somewhat legitimate. I think asking is a better way to get people to do something that is important. Rather, as soon as you start demanding, then people start resisting. So I don't know if
well, apparently they resist even if you ask them.
Well, and here's the thing: if we're talking about like this whole situation that's going on, the fact that there was a bunch of conflicting information, and you've got a few people that are kind of conspiratorially minded that think that there's some kind of agenda out there, the deep state or something like that, and the Illuminati or whatever, and this is just confirmation. And the thing is, I guess I could see how some people would be a little bit resistant. So
it's just weird because, like, of all the things, of all the nefarious things that the government could do to you, why would putting a paper mask on be their like end game? Like
yeah, well, okay, that's a very good point. And I will say one thing: I think masks like the surgical masks look ridiculous. I'll have to say, I love the fact that now I can wear a bandana in public. Like I can go into a store wearing a bandana, like some kind of, robber or burglar or something like that. And everybody's like, oh yeah, that's fine. They're totally cool with it. Like, why don't people see that side of things? Like, this is fun. I get to wear a bandana. I got this camo bandana that I wear. It's great. Like, hell yeah, this is fun. I mean,
I'll tell you what. When the lightning was zapping me over here to Memphis, I stopped in Arizona, where it's like 112 degrees, and I was wearing the mask all the time just because my breath was colder than the air around me. So it was actually keeping me cool.
Well, there's a reason why people wore that stuff, or do wear that kind of thing, like face coverings in arid regions or hot places and stuff. And the thing is, it's not a matter of protecting you from other people. It's a matter of protecting other people from you. So,
that's the problem. Nobody has empathy.
Some people do, but yeah. And I think the people are very okay with a business like a store or something saying, hey, could you put on something over your face? Most people are completely willing to do that. But as soon as you leverage the power of the state against people, then they start getting all freaked out and weirded out. I do like one thing I have to say is, in this state, our governor, who I think is kind of a douchebag, but he did at least say, I'm asking you to do this voluntarily, which is cool. Like, it's like, hey,
Inslee's handled it pretty well.
Oh, that's time.
That was a quick 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was. We could go on about that one because I actually have a lot more thoughts on that, but that's all right. So the next one is me. This is the science category. So blinded me with science. Thomas Dolby. I love that song. Anyway, so science. All right, here's the topic. Will AI make humans obsolete?
Oh, yeah, yes and no. I've given this some thought. I kind of think, since we're like apex predators, basically,
Mhm.
our selections, speaking from an evolution standpoint, our selections are minimal. And as far as like evolving as a species, we may have hit an effective singularity. So I think the next step in evolution would be maybe not artificial intelligence, but augmented intelligence kind of AI.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think that would be really cool to, well, augment, like make things better, to make your synapses fire a little better, to make your memories retain more, if we had the ability to somehow do that, like bioelectronically.
We're going into like Johnny Mnemonic territory.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to science.
Yeah, I agree. I'm totally on board with that kind of thing, and augmenting us, our wetware with hardware, and software and things like that. I think that is the future.
Or wetware with whatware?
That's gonna become a porno. But no, the thing is, there are people who really genuinely think that AI, um, machine learning and things like that, is becoming ever more capable of doing the things that humans traditionally have done. And a lot of people think it's basically going to surpass humankind and make us obsolete. Like our jobs will be obsolete. Like nobody will have a job because computers are going to do it all.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen in most of our lifetimes. But it could happen for some industries, certainly. So
Right. Well, here's the thing that artificial intelligence, I don't know that it will ever come up with a way to have intuition or, um, consequential nuances. Like, if parameters change on the fly, is the artificial intelligence going to be able to make a judgment call to correct its programming going forward? Like,
yeah.
maybe someday, maybe like way out there, but I don't think it's anywhere near that point. And like, we don't even understand enough about our own brains, let alone how to make the circuitry do that. So I'm not too
Yeah.
worried about like all the jobs going away, because there's always going to be someone who needs to fix the robots and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
therapy and things like that I don't think really anyone would get much out of going to a robot.
Well, that's true. And the thing to keep in mind is people have been talking about this kind of eventuality for centuries. That computers or machines would eventually replace humans. You've got Metropolis, from very early days of filmmaking. And I don't think that it's going to quite happen that way. But I'm optimistic. Like honestly, I like the potential for this. You, I think people are seeing movies like Wall-E and they're thinking like, this is it's on the horizon. Like it's gonna a few years out or something like that. And I don't think it's really like that.
Yeah.
Um,
So the angle I was taking, though, just to play a devil's advocate to myself, now let's say everybody could augment their brains and their bodies to be, like a total like big dog on campus or whatever. Obviously, there would be selection in favor of the people whose augments are shinier, faster, and newer, and that would basically be like the new big breast, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's a good
That's a good
point.
way to end it.
Yeah.
Breasts, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that actually could be its own episode, as usual with the
Yep.
lightning round. Like we should probably come back to that one because there's a lot we could talk about there.
Yeah. Might be cool to have Doug back on for that.
Oh, for sure,
Connect
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's your turn. I think it's the economy. So let me know when you're ready, and I'll start the timer.
All right. Economy. So, do you think any form of a cashless society would be a good thing?
Ooh, that is interesting that you should mention cashless society. It's a subject that I think about often, and is certainly becoming more talked about recently with the goings on out there.
Mhm.
Sorry, what was the question?
Well, do you think any form of cashless society is a good thing? And I'm lumping in like cryptocurrency into this because there's no physical paper Bitcoin or whatever, right?
Yeah. No, it's all like blockchain encryption and stuff like that. I do like the idea of cryptocurrency for what it offers, but anonymity and things like that, which I think is really important. Um, unless you're the government, then of course you want to know exactly what everybody's doing. Um, and
Right. Well, don't you think it's possible that if society started drifting toward Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency, that the government would find a way to track everyone? Because if I don't know, I think there would be a way for them to do it, and they would find
well, maybe, and that goes back to the minute microscopy I did on encryption backdoors that it opens kind of a Pandora's box of nefarious ne'er-do-wells that could
Yeah.
enter that, and you know, I
So
think one of the issues I have with things being completely cashless and tracked by the state is the tracking itself. Like, I think that could create some kind of negative effects. Like, knowing exactly what you buy when could potentially be used against you for whatever reason. Um, and of course, it also eliminates all of the stuff that we've talked about many times, like illegal drugs and prostitution and things like that are kind of in the gray area of society that couldn't exist if there was no cash. And
oh, yeah, that's a good point.
so I
But
it
you
depends on
also can't have a piggy bank when you're a kid, or
yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
you basically, like, there would be no way to subvert. I mean, unless it was all cryptocurrency, there'd be no way to subvert paying taxes, which,
Mm-hmm.
you know, being that it is technically illegal, I'm not saying it's right or wrong to do that.
Yeah, but it's a thing that people are concerned about.
Yeah.
So to me, I look at it and I think the tracking aspect and the data collection aspect they have some very grave potential consequences where all you have to do is look at someone's buying habits and you can paint a picture about them any way you want, and that it doesn't help things that people are completely willing to put all their data out on the web, like that. I don't know, but yeah, that uh, there's good and bad things. Like, me being a reader of cyberpunk science fiction and things like that, like Neuromancer and Gibson-esque kind of things. Like, I like the idea of credits and digital currencies and stuff, but I have a problem with some central authority knowing exactly what you buy when. And that could happen if we eliminated cash.
Would it be a more stable economy though? Like you can eliminate counterfeiting, like you said, the black market goes away. So like everything's basically funneling through proper channels, economically speaking.
Well, it depends on your definition of proper and who decides it. And yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, oh man, this is like this is another thing that should totally be its own episode.
Yeah.
That's a really good topic. But you know, shit. Okay.
So now I guess people are.
Oh shit. Well, wait. Go ahead and finish what you're saying. You know.
I was just gonna say, I guess now people are thinking of like not handling money because of COVID or whatever. But
Yeah.
like that seems to me like a kind of a back burner reason. But anyway.
No, that's true. Yeah. So I think now it would be my turn, and
Yes.
my topic for this one is public health and safety. So let's see. I'll start the timer. Okay. Antibiotic resistant viruses. What do you think?
Do I think they are awesome or
No. Like the overuse of antibiotics, and the consequences of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't quite understand the question being posed. Yeah, I think there is definitely a big problem with people just kind of going to an antibiotic. I mean, to some degree, to the credit of most general practitioners, they all know that that's not the right move. But
Now,
yeah, and I mean, in recent years going back, but it's still an issue. Like there is still overuse of antibiotics, and I can't say it's all due to overuse because genetic mutations do occur randomly.
true.
They are selected by whatever it takes to survive. So these mutations are still going to allow for antibiotic resistant bacteria to crop up. That's never going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Just so people are clear on that. But we can help to make it less prevalent by being smarter about diagnosing.
Well, yeah, and like dispensing antibiotics, like for every little thing. Because I remember when I had my wisdom teeth pulled, they gave me a bottle of antibiotics, which seemed a little crazy.
Well,
like, just take it. You don't even have anything. Just go ahead and take it.
Well, you've got a ton of bacteria in your mouth, and when you eat, you're adding more bacteria and all that stuff. So that does kind of make sense prophylactically. And it's probably a low dose. But.
Sure, but what are the consequences long term of just like freely dispensing those kinds of things?
Well, if you're not actually like sick with the flu or something like that, there would be no consequence because it'll be flushed out of your system, a few days after you stop taking it. Mm-hmm. But if you did happen to get a flu or something like that while you were on antibiotics, it's possible that they could build an immunity to that, assuming that antibiotic had effect on them, in the first place. Like what I'm saying is, assuming you would even prescribe that particular antibiotic for that particular bug, let's say.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, if you're taking, whatever cycline, mm-hmm. and you get this particular flu strain that no one would ever prescribe that for, if it mutates a way to have it just roll off its back, then who cares?
Sure, yeah. I mean, but what do you think about the implications of, like, the future implications of this use of antibiotics, and what's going to happen when the mutations make a lot of these strains immune to our antibiotics? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Or is that even possible?
I don't know that it's possible. There's so much I couldn't possibly even go into all the biological little things in less than 5 minutes now.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah, so I don't really see it being like something that will create an incredible Hulk virus or bacteria or anything like that. I'm not horribly worried about it. It's just when we have a particular common flu strain, let's say, and we've already got the vaccine for it, but people are just not getting the vaccine and taking antibiotics that don't do jack shit anyway, then we kind of lose out on the efficacy of that vaccine because the parts that are mutating aren't necessarily the proteins that the vaccine is binding to and all that stuff. So, the vaccine can still work on them, but they might be a little more tenacious because I don't know. It's complicated.
Yeah, definitely. And yet again, that might be its own episode.
Yeah, I mean, we should have a microbiologist on for that. I mean, I did an undergrad poster there and
nice
on microbiology, but I'm not really an expert. So
that's all right. Well, that's time for that one. So it is your turn for religion. Let me know when you want me to start the timer, and I will do so. Make it so.
Make it so. How much are the Westboro Baptist Church bastards? Huh?
Yeah, they're assholes. Man,
I'm kind of surprised they haven't been super vocal lately. With everything going on, you'd think they would have like all of that ample opportunity to get that free publicity that they so love with all of their, like God hates this and God hates that picket signs, like picketing people's funerals.
Oh yeah. Wasn't it like a soldier's funeral or something they picketed?
Yeah. And
what
it's
the
like
hell?
He might have been who knows what that soldier situation was. He might have been gay. He might have been Swedish. They've been known to hold God hates Swedes signs. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah. Like, what did the Swedes do?
I mean, that raises a good question. Like, does God hate anything? I mean, is it like well, I guess it depends if you're an Old Testament or New Testament thing, because in my experience, Jesus taught love, like love everybody. Let God judge. You can't be the judge. So it really rubs me really hard, and not in a good way.
Rubs you hard. Whoa.
Yeah. But about those people, like, yeah, they drive me up the wall. Like, where are they coming from? And oh man, they're so full of anger and
so I think Fred Phelps died a few years ago. Maybe that's why they're a little quieter, because I think he was kind of the front runner for all that hatred. I mean, to me, it's just another example of people using religion to amplify their hate, to justify it. Because, like, I mean, I don't really know a lot of Baptists, I guess, like just plain old Baptists. But I'm pretty sure they aren't giant dicks like the Westboro Baptists.
No, not at all. I think, my family has been kind of like in and out of various religious sects growing up. And I think I went to a Baptist church and stuff, and it was totally not like that at all. It was just like pretty chill, just hymns and Bible verses and playing dodgeball and stuff. That's what I remember. I don't,
stoning gay people, or wasn't
no, that didn't happen.
Huh. Could have fooled me.
Yeah,
like, if you were like a hardcore Baptist, wouldn't you just be pissed off at like how they're tarnishing the name Baptist?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or even just Christian in general, like any variation of Christianity, that would piss me off.
I mean, when I was flying through the roof here in Memphis, I saw a hospital called Baptist, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm not landing somewhere where a bunch of Baptists are my doctors."
Yeah.
I had that notion in my head just because of the Westboro Baptist. Like they've so successfully painted Baptists as hate mongers when they're
Yeah,
not.
and exactly. And you know, that's a good point. Like, what do other Baptists or Christians think of that? And why isn't there more pushback against something so ridiculous? I mean, it is ridiculous. It's like
Yeah.
only obvious. Like, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like, you know, as you and me being like white dudes or whatever, if we saw another white dude beating up a black dude, it would be like, well, I mean, he's not a real white dude.
Mhm.
You know, rather than like jumping on him and tearing him off and telling him to shut the fuck up. And, you know, like
Yeah.
these other Baptists are basically, instead of telling, like trying to get them to stop, they're basically just saying, well, they're not real Baptists. They're not real Christians. That's what you always hear. It's just moving the
It's
goalpost and stuff, and like telling people
it's
what they believe and what they don't.
it's the no true Scotsman
Yeah,
fallacy,
exactly.
really.
Yeah.
And yeah, there should definitely be a lot more pushback, because it does give other Baptists and other Christians, by extension, a bad rap. Like, you know, it makes everybody look bad. And when they're just, whoop, okay, that's time. I was gonna say they're just a small minority, but
Yeah.
they're a very vocal minority. So okay. I guess it would be my turn now for philosophy. So get your synapses ready, because it's time for some philosophy.
All right.
Nice. All right, so philosophy.
I don't know why there's a fucking harmonica for
Oh man. So the ethics of sex bots. This will definitely get us demonetized.
the ethics of, I personally, I don't think ethics and consensual sex have anything to do with each other, but can a robot give consent?
Ooh, that's a very do androids dream of electric sheep angle to take. Um, that's a good question. But there are a lot of people that think that sex bots diminish human relations, that the mere existence of them somehow poses a threat to uh, the organic relations between people.
Well, sure, it could. Now, asterisk. You could say that about anything that anyone lets consume them. You know, like alcohol or TV or video games or, you know, ice cream, whatever it is. If you allow it to consume you, that takes away from your other, you know, that takes your focus away from other relationships and stuff.
Well,
So it's not the fact that it's a sex bot or whatever. It's just whether or not people will take it too far and let it take over their lives.
well, or like World of Warcraft, or some hobby of like rebuilding classic cars or something, where you're spending every day in the garage twisting wrenches or something.
Yeah.
And you know, people have the same feelings about porn, that somehow porn is cheating, or it's like it I think it's a personal thing. And to me, I think, well, couldn't it be an enhancement to a relationship?
Yeah.
It could be, but there
Certainly
are people who
possible.
think they really feel threatened by this. because today's sex bots are quite realistic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I did land here in Memphis alone. Maybe you can give me a website. Oh, well, anyway.
I'll give you a link. Yeah.
No, I don't. I haven't really heard of these sex bots. Not since they were like theorized in the 80s or whatever, where you would like put a VR helmet on or something. But I don't think it's like that, right? It's like an actual physical thing.
Yeah. And
Okay.
there's ones. I think some of the early high quality ones originated from Japan. They're very expensive, and now there's ones being made in China that are less expensive but pretty close. But to me, I think, if your relationship is so foundationally weak that it can't sustain a few bumps, you might want to rethink your relationship.
Are the sex bots bumpy?
Sometimes, yeah.
It's pathetic to watch you grinding away.
Red Dwarf reference, as always. Yeah, but people really take it seriously. And I mean, personally, I think it's kind of awesome. Like, yeah, this is cool technology, and how well they can emulate the human form and actions and things like that. Like, that's pretty cool. So why would you feel threatened? But then again, I'm polyamorous, so I don't feel threatened by outside forces.
Do any of the sex bots squirt? I mean, like if it's a hydraulic leak or something, like.
I've been thinking about that, and I'm developing something like that. Not that I'm actually developing a sex bot, but I could be. Yeah. But yeah, it does really concern people. Get really concerned about this.
I don't know why. Like, it's none of their business what other people want to do. If you don't want to screw a robot, don't screw a robot.
Well, but it's people in relationships being worried about their partner. So we'll leave that for the comment section. So like, share, subscribe, and comment on this one. Okay.
That'll kick some dust up.
Oh, yes, it will. So I think it's on to you. I think this is tomfoolery, right? Or do you need more beer?
Tomfoolery, but yes, I need more beer. Luckily, I don't have to go far. Moscow Mule in a can.
Nice. Hey, there's nothing wrong with canned beer.
Well, this isn't even canned beer. It's canned vodka.
Holy shit. Well,
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
That's a lot of vodka. Have fun with that. So I think it's huh?
Skull.
Skull. Okay, so it's tomfoolery, and it's on to you. So let me know when to start, and I will start the timer.
I thought we were already tomfoolery. Ying.
Constantly, always.
Yep. All right, tomfoolery. Let's go.
Okay.
All right. Fight. Who would win, Scooby-Doo or Shaggy?
Ooh, well, I guess that depends on what kind of battle you're talking about. Is it like a Scooby snack eating contest or what?
It's just a scrappy fight, and I don't mean his nephew Scrappy. I mean, like, they're just duking it out.
I'd go for Scooby-Doo, I think, because he's a dog.
Well,
yeah,
but Shaggy is a major stoner, and he's all limber and loose, and like, you see the way he walks, and he looks a bit like Gumby or something.
Yeah, he'd be like, ah! He could take anything.
Right. You ever watch those like 1970s martial arts movies where there's like the drunken style or whatever, and he's all like, yeah, just like flowing all around. Nobody can hit him, and he just like has all this like back snap to like his hits, like because he's all like limber and loose and relaxed. Shaggy's totally like drunken style martial artist from the 1970s. I kind of think Shaggy would knock the shit out of Scooby. I don't know.
Well, at least he might be able to withstand an attack, and stay standing while Scooby-Doo's worn out and exhausted. So,
although being a dog, he probably doesn't exhaust too easily.
Well, that's true.
Well, he was what, a Great Dane? I don't know much about Great Danes. They're big.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, like thinking about it now, this is actually like a pretty close match.
Yeah, Great Danes are huge dogs. Yeah. That would be a tough dog to fight, I think.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, even if you could like not feel any pain because you're completely high,
Andy's a like bipedal Great Dane.
Yeah. Well, how did that happen?
Yeah. Like
that's a
lot
good
of
point.
Marijuana there.
I mean, yeah, I don't.
So you think it's just because he's a dog and he's got teeth and he's vicious and it's in his blood, you think he would tear apart Shaggy?
Maybe. I mean, he's got like claws, like dogs have claws or some semblance thereof. Maybe. I mean, they're like best friends, so I don't know that they would actually fight, but if they did, I'm pretty sure
they'd go smoke a doobie afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, Scoob, that was a really hard fight.
Roll, Raggy, Scooby Dooby.
Oh man, you could do the Scooby voice better than I could do the Shaggy voice. Oh man.
Oh jeez. I mean, I could see a dog winning a fight pretty easily, I suppose. I mean, they are a little closer to their feral roots than humans are, so he's got that dog wolf instinct going.
Yeah.
Although he's really stoned too. So
that's true. Wait, can dogs get stoned?
I'm pretty sure they can.
Yeah, probably. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they have cannabinoid receptors.
Yeah.
I'd have to check the chromosome chart I have back there.
Well, and that itself would be an interesting conversation. Like, why does that exist?
The ability to get high or the ability to fight with your talking bipedal dog?
The former, not the latter. Or both, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that is interesting. For the Christians out there or the religious, did God intend for us to get high? Why does 300 micrograms of LSD make you completely trip balls? It's almost like we were designed to experience that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a synthetic drug too.
Yeah.
So
it's based on ergot, the fungus.
Well, okay. So what if Scooby, being the dog with the upper hand?
Oh shit. Okay. Wait. I want to hear this. What if Scooby? What?
I was gonna say, what if Scooby, having the upper hand, got dosed with LSD and Shaggy was just stoned? That'll have to be another time.
Yeah, totally. That should be an episode of Scooby-Doo at some point.
It's too bad we don't do sound clips for this episode because we have got so many.
that would be good. Oh man. So I guess it would be my turn now. Is it my turn now?
Conspiracy theories, huh?
Conspiracies and other such woo strange things. So I'm gonna go less into the conspiracies and a little more into the weird woo stuff. Okay, so starting the timer, 5 minutes. Bigfoot. What do you think?
I've been wanting to talk about Bigfoot. Actually, we should do an episode on that. I find it interesting that I don't discount the possibility of some other form of hominid. Maybe it's Neanderthal in origin or something. You know, I don't discount the possibility of that occurring, but the fact that it's so spread out over the world, you know, like you've got it in Nepal with the Yeti,
yeah.
You know, in the Pacific Northwest primarily for Bigfoot, and there's a few others around the world with different names and stuff, but they're all basically the same approximate creature, somewhere between a bear and a human man pig bear pig.
Yeah, like a tall, hairy humanoid being. Like what if the Neanderthal survived in some form and is a lot smarter than we give him credit for?
Interesting thing. There's a book trilogy. I think his name's Robert Sawyer. He did a alternate universe where Neanderthals became like this, like actually really intelligent species that measured time in decimal time and stuff. And like,
hell yeah,
it was a really cool trilogy. But that got me thinking, like, you know, if Bigfoot were a Neanderthal, why are they so spread out though? And like no skeletal evidence, to my knowledge, has ever been produced. Because
maybe they're like, just that good at burying their dead.
I mean, bones and all, though. I mean, like, because if you did find a bone of something and analyze it, you'd see enough genetic differences to say, hey, you know, this is a new species, you know. And then forensic anthropology can kind of like reconstruct from just a few bones what something probably looks like, and then they'd be like, whoa, this is Bigfoot. You know,
that's true. Unless there's so few of them remaining. You know, my dad has seen something along those lines, like in Mount Rainier, and yeah, it's an interesting. But the fact that so many cultures have similar stories about these kinds of creatures does kind of give it a little bit of weight, I guess.
Well, so many cultures have had witches in the woods and dragons just over that hill. Doesn't necessarily mean that those things were ever real. It's just that kind of lore has a way of being a staple of human storytelling.
Well, that's true. Yeah. You have the unexplained things that people can't explain with what they know, and they weave stories around them.
People like to be scared too. You know, like that's why horror movies are a thing. You know, people like having this kind of creepy something's out there, something's watching me kind of feeling, because it gives you adrenaline. It's like a ride at a fair or something, you know, but you get to be sitting on your couch and just immerse yourself in this world of thinking, like, what if this really scary thing were real? And I think that's basically where all this stuff really comes from.
Well, yeah, it's like a lot like the Loch Ness Monster or something, and you know, people would love for there to be some kind of weird thing, and I think you're right that a lot of this does stem from that kind of desire to be scared or those kinds of things. Yeah, I think
So with your dad seeing something on Mount Rainier, are you more prone to think that it's real, or was this a trick of the eye?
given that it was super foggy, I'm more leaning towards the trick of the eye thing. Oh, well, that that should
5 minutes go quick.
I know that definitely needs to be its own episode. In fact, we should probably talk about that at some point. Like, yeah. Okay, so now we're on to the last topic, current events, which we
Yes.
both know.
Yes. This is the one we both know. Um,
And so let me know when you want to start, and I'll start the timer.
all right. So everybody's probably seen in the news in Seattle for a brief period of time, there was a little autonomous zone known as CHAZ,
Mm-hmm.
Hill Autonomous Zone. So what are your thoughts on the existence of CHAZ, which was later named Chad and all that stuff?
And Chop, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and Chop, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone through a few iterations.
Sorry, Chad's the guy that wears an affliction shirt.
I speaking from the like anarchy side of things, like I kind of like it. There's a part of me that feels a little bit of kinship, as long as they're not like destroying the residents' property in the area, which I think they did a little bit. So I think it's an interesting experiment. But yeah,
Well, so there was a lot in the media that was a little bit misleading. I've known a lot of people that went down there, and I really wanted to check it out. And I actually wanted to like do a whole episode on this and have some footage from my own visit there. I didn't have time because the lightning just picked me up and dropped me in Memphis here. But I really liked the idea, and from what I heard from a lot of people and through seeing people that I don't know that were there on social media, a lot of the vandalism and things like that, a lot of the murders that happened were not actually in the zone. But I mean, I get you can't really like just put like a border on it either.
That's true.
So I mean, but at the same time, you also can't necessarily say that certain people are citizens of CHAZ, so you can't really pin it. You can't pin it on that particular, zone necessarily. If some asshole wanders through there and then decides to go fuck up somebody's porch or whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're open to everybody coming in, you have to accept everybody and the consequences thereof. And that does present a problem, especially when it comes to the media and the way they like to portray things. I like the fact that people kind of exercised a little bit of muscle and kind of just took over an area and made it this autonomous zone. And the fact that the police just didn't go there,
except in extreme emergencies.
Yeah, exactly.
Then when they finally kicked everyone out, the police just started showing up and beating on people and doing their same old tactics. But anyway, that should be a whole episode.
yeah, exactly. And now I think that the issue with the CHAZ Chop area is that there wasn't a cohesive mindset. There wasn't kind of like a goal. Like there wasn't a plan at all.
Well,
people just moved in there and they did what they did, and everybody was going every which way. I think if it was a little bit more planned out, it might have actually been a good thing.
Well, okay. that's interesting to hear from an anarchist, because how can you have personal autonomy and a collective whole that are working together without it sacrificing some of that autonomy? Or, like, what I'm saying is, like, if they had a plan, it wouldn't really be autonomous.
Well,
Right?
that's true. But at
Like,
least
if
like
it's a true anarchist sort of situation, then like whatever happens, but the
well,
majority of people might respond to it and like squash it. But
yeah, I mean that's not exactly how that works, but I mean that's a good point. Um, it at least having kind of like a general sense of what you're aiming for rather than everybody kind of doing whatever. I think that created a lot of confusion there and contributed to some of the issues that we saw in that place.
I'm like 90% for it, but my only issue is that they took over residential areas in
Yeah.
part and commercial areas, so that was kind of obstructing.
Oh, yeah.
I was just gonna say, maybe if they took over a park, it would have lasted longer.
Yeah, now there was a park in there, but it was a
It's like
small,
solely a park. Like,
yeah, it was a very small place.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was an interesting experiment. There were a lot of divergent philosophies, though. But anyway, we that could once more. This is another topic that should be its own episode.
Yeah,
But
that was a good lightning round.
Yeah, that was like
that's probably our best one yet.
Yeah. Man, we got to come back to like every one of these topics.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. Jeez. These are all good.
I got some more good ideas lined up for the next ones.
Nice. Well, just know that these are a bitch to edit. So let's keep it few and far between if we can.
Yep.
But
right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all those who have stuck it out and watched all the way through. Thank you, and we appreciate all of you. And keep the conversation going down there in the comment section. And if you're listening on a podcast, well, keep the conversation going elsewhere. And yeah.
All right. Everybody was deep sink diving.